you serious?
So, there are plenty of ways to kill an hour out there. Right now, you're killing one with myself, Marcus Bronzy. Coming up in this little bonus episode, a way to kill some time when it comes to decision making, and you'll be hearing a clip of a conversation with a hostage negotiator. The real deal, okay? Now, in terms of an app to help you save some time, I'm going to be honest, I'm decisive sometimes, and other times, especially when I'm like, in super diet mode, I'm a little bit carb hungry, can't be bothered to really get up and do anything after I've gone to the gym, let alone make a decision. Sometimes the most menial decisions, like what should I wear, tracksuit or jeans, trainers or shoes, should I get a haircut today, yeah or no, should I not bother, those sorts of decisions become extremely hard for me to make. And if you've got a slightly more complex set of decisions to make, but you want to simplify the yes or no process, I've got an app for you. Simple as, free. It's called Coin Flip. That's right, I flip a coin instead of a real life coin because let's be honest, we're all doing a lot of Apple Pay and using our cards at the moment. I don't really roll with coinage. I flip a coin with Coin Flip app. Nice and simple. Doesn't always have to be complicated. I mean, we got some crazy exciting stuff coming up here on How to Kill an Hour, but sometimes I like to keep it simple with you. I've got a Coin Flip app and the link to it is in the show description, so check it out. Now, the following is a clip from a hostage negotiator called Richard Mullender. It's a clip from our brother podcast called Marcus Meets. If you want to hear the full episode, we'll put a link to it in the description and I'll tell you how you can listen to the rest of it in case you don't know how to get to Marcus Meets podcast, which I think you should do, but it's good to point you in the right direction after this. So Richard Mullender is the real deal when it comes to being a hostage negotiator. He has worked with the FBI. He's worked internationally in like Brazil, Cyprus. He's worked helping negotiations with the Taliban. He's serious. And in this Marcus Meets conversation, it gets quite deep. But we also have some quite, interesting bits of conversation that's slightly more lighthearted, like his quickest ever negotiation.
The quickest was Bethnal Green. Won't forget it. It was a bridge over the road. It stopped all the roads. And there's a young lady not feeling very well. And someone told me she wasn't feeling very well. So I went up to her and I said, I understand you're not feeling well. She said, I'm not. I said, I've got some tablets. Do you want them? She said, yeah. I said, come on in. And she came off as quick as that. And it was as quick as that. It was like, and on that day I thought, oh, what a wonderful negotiator. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, how good am I? Yeah. And then on the Friday of the same week, there was one chap who at one point said to me, and what part of fuck off don't you understand? It absolutely made me spell. It was a brilliant sort of wake up call, Mullender. Do you know what I mean? It was simple as that, really. There are the situations. I mean, to some extent, they're all pretty similar. I don't mean every single person is different. So you're dealing with a different person each time, and their needs are very different, and their values are very different, and their currencies and everything else they do is very different, and you've got to work them out. So to some extent, that part of it is similar. Do you know what I mean? But they're all very different. So the most difficult negotiations, I think, with anybody is people you don't like. If you don't like someone, it's really difficult to negotiate with them because your ego kicks in and your dislike of that person and your values and everything else kick in, and it makes it really difficult to deal with them because I don't like you, and I've never yet thought to myself, bloody hell, mate, I don't like you enough, jump. I've never done that, do you know what I mean? But there are times when you're thinking, I don't know where I'm going with this because I don't like you enough to think hard, because you get the emotion kicks in and you've got to be cool. I think that's the most important thing. But if you're negotiating anything, and especially with someone you don't like, you have to really kind of set yourself up, put yourself in a mindset, get your mindset right.
Cool. All right then. Well, that's one form of quantification. Is sort of the shortest one, and sort of you really clicking quite quickly with that person. Yeah. What's an example of one of your longest?
The longest ones, I suppose. The one in Afghanistan, for instance, went on for 4 weeks. But I don't think that's a very different negotiation. I think for myself, normally 8 to 12 hours. I mean, most of them normally 8 to 12 hours. There's been difficult ones. One person wouldn't speak to me for 45 minutes. That got interesting. Yeah, he was up a tree and You try and talk to someone for 45 minutes, nothing coming back.
Hey, how did you make that happen?
You just keep talking. You just have to come up with stuff. And there was a squirrel that ran past him, and I started talking about the squirrel. And I said, I can't believe you're doing this to that squirrel. This is dreadful, you know. Poor squirrel. Look, he can't get home to his family, you know. He's looking for his acorns, you know. And I was making stuff up, really. It was horrendous looking back on it. But, and in the end, he wouldn't talk to me, saying, and I said, well, you must be dead. And I went to get the ladder because the fire brigade were there. And he said, no, I'm alive. I said, oh, right. Oh, I didn't realise. I said, right, you're going to have to talk to me every 10 minutes or I'm going to think you're dead. And he said, I'm not going to. I said, okay, I'll get the ladder. And so every 10 minutes I went to get the ladder, and every 10 minutes he spoke to me. And after about 3 hours of this, and it goes on for a long time, you're still talking. He said, come on, mate, you know, what's going on? Tell me what's about and all the rest of it, you know, trying to do your best. He said to me, and we started talking, he said, you know that thing about the squirrels? I said, yeah. He said, made me laugh. And it was kind of, but once again, and it sounds ridiculous, I know, but just remember this, right? If your little kid has locked themselves in the bathroom and you're outside talking to your missus, your husband, whatever, and you're saying, like, when he comes out of there, I'm going to wrap him. The problem is he's hearing everything you're saying, and he ain't going to come out for a long time, so you've got to be careful, because people hear what you say. They may not respond, but they hear it. And that's that's a big learning curve for me, because that's, you know. But yeah, 8 to 12 hours is not unusual, and yeah, the most difficult ones. I think the most difficult ones are certainly the ones where you don't particularly like the people who you're dealing with, and that makes it hard. Yeah.
A couple of more quick ones before we get out of here. How do you turn off and wind down? Because like you said, you can be up in a tree trying to talk to somebody for 45 minutes and they're not giving you anything, and then you could still be up there for 8 to 12 hours. How do you like to kill some time, switch off?
Well, afterwards, you mean? Or any time?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, what do I do for I watch, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I watch the films. I always watch cowboys and westerns and all that. So it's terrible on it, really, but I kind of like the old films, and so that's what I tend to do. And I'm fascinated by this subject, because I still think there's much more to learn and many more places to go, you know. I don't think we've scratched the surface of listening. I really don't, you know. I think there's the indirect questions, stuff like that, you know, which fascinates me. You ask one question and you're looking for a completely different. So if I said to you, Brexit, discuss, as you tell me about Brexit, you'll give me your politics. And I think that's kind of fascinating. That stuff it gives me insights, because very few people are prepared to give away like politics or religion or whatever. But the moment you ask a question like that, you find it all out. And that, I think, is an area where I've got to do some more work on, which I'm fascinated in. Hope has become a big thing for me at the moment. I think, how do you sell hope? And they talk about, you know, faith, hope, and charity are the 3 great things, and charity is the greatest. No, it's not. Hope is. I think hope is the absolute key. And Brexit was a really interesting thing for me. I couldn't understand how they won, and then you started to really take it apart. And it's so. If you've got someone on a bridge, how do you sell hope? Yeah, so there's lots more to be done. I think so for me, it's like I'm still interested.
Have you been using any of your emotional intelligence on me today? I'm very paranoid.
No, not at all. No, I've been doing too much talking. If I was using it, you'd have done the talking. Right. Well, if I've been using it at a top level, no. Okay, I think it's like all these things. Is I have an outcome. We have an outcome from this interview, which is fine. You know, we'll do the outcome. That's great. But no. I'll do it later. No.
Cool. I reckon he was playing me for the whole interview, but to hear the whole of that, all you have to do is go to whatever podcast you use to listen to this and find Marcus Meets. We've also put a link in the show description. It's episode 31, Hostage Negotiator, Richard Mullender. So check that out. Thank you very much for listening to How to Kill an Hour. There's plenty of ways to kill an hour out there. There'll be another way to kill an hour, at least one, coming up in our next episode. Hold tight.